Hi, my name is Maryann Berry, and welcome to my weekly posture tune-up with Maryann. In today's episode or class, our focus is going to be realigning the feet, legs, and hips. And my cat, Little Bit, is very excited about this right now, as I can tell because she's meowing. Little Bit, come say hi. All right, so we're going to get started today with a quick little self-assessment. What you're going to need for this class is a block, like a yoga block or an Agoscu block if you have something like this. And if you don't have a block, I'll walk you through how to do the movements without a block. And just a little bit of floor space, and that's all that you're going to need. So just a quick little note, these movements are intended for a general audience. So if we do any exercises that don't feel right for your body, just feel free to skip it and go on to the next one. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them, but I'm not going to be looking at the comments until the very end of class. So thank you for your patience. And I look forward to seeing your comments and getting back to you. So let's go ahead and get started. So when we think about the feet, the legs, the hips, one quick way to assess is just to walk and to feel the weight distribution of our feet as we're walking. So go ahead and try this. Just stand up. And just walk. If you have your shoes on, you'll want to just kick off your shoes. And pay attention to the weight distribution in your feet. Pay attention to what part of your foot hits the floor first. And then notice what part of your foot is in contact with the floor as you toe off in the back. And just walk back and forth a few times. Notice if your foot strike maybe feels heavy. Even notice what your shoulders are doing, what your arms are doing. Maybe your arms are swinging, maybe they're not swinging. And just get a good read on essentially your gait, your walking, and how this feels. So today I'm going to be taking you through a sequence of movements. We have 16 movements that we're going to be going through today. The intention of these movements is to reposition the hips, the legs, and the feet. So at the very end of class, we're going to retest that walking, and we're just going to pay attention to any changes that we notice immediately after class. So we're going to get started here with an exercise called standing gluteal contractions. So for this, you're going to want to stand with your heels about 5 inches apart and the balls of your feet about 3 inches apart. A good way to measure this is to place a fist and a half width between your heels and 1 fist width between the balls of your feet. So when you look at yourself, you should look just slightly pigeon-toed. So you're just going to want to go ahead and relax your arms at your sides. And looking straight ahead, you're just going to simply squeeze and release your glutes. So we're going to go through a total of 60 reps here today. We're going to break them up into 3 sets of 20. 6, squeeze and release the glutes. 7, 8. Now the key here is to keep the stomach muscles relaxed. So if this is your first time doing gluteal contractions, or maybe not, even if it's your first time, you could be an old pro at this. Either way, you might notice lots of different muscles starting to fire and trying to help out. So you might feel your quads, you might feel your stomach, your lower back, and that's totally fine. Try to just relax your stomach and isolate the glutes as best you can. So we're on 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And relax. Go ahead and just reset those feet, slightly pigeon-toed. Let's go ahead and start our second set. Squeeze and release. And if you're unsure if you're squeezing, if you're unsure if your glutes are contracting, what you can do is just take both palms of your hands and just place them on your butt cheeks and just feel for the contraction. So when you squeeze, you should feel just some motion of your hips, some motion of your butt muscles, I should say. And the reason why we're doing these gluteal contractions is because by contracting these muscles, we're actually starting to rebalance our bodies here. Our bodies are coming into a better balance already. We're going to go through another 5, squeeze and release, nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and relax. And we're going to start our third and final set here of gluteal contractions. Squeeze, hold, and release. Nice and slow. We're going to emphasize squeezing the glutes, holding for a count of 1, and slowly releasing. So don't just squeeze, release. So we're going to squeeze, hold, and slowly release. Here on our third set, our gluteal contractions are starting to feel a little bit fuller, a little bit more even on both sides. Now you might have noticed at the very beginning, or maybe you're noticing now, that as you contract your glutes, that one side contracts first and then the other side maybe kind of catches up, or maybe one side feels a little bit stronger than the other. So that's an interesting way to detect that your body is off balance. And by doing these gluteal contractions and doing so many reps, we're going all the way up to 60 reps. Our goal here is to start to rebalance these muscles. And the better these muscles function, again, like I said, the more balanced our bodies become, the more balanced our hips become, and the more evenly and without trouble we can do the things that we want to do, like walk, go up and down stairs, get in and out of the car, all of those great things. We're on 17, squeeze, hold, and release. 18, 19, and 20. And relax. Go ahead and just march in place a little bit, just kind of reset, shake out those arms. So exercise number 2 is called 3 position toe raises. You're going to want to start off with your feet in that same position, about 5 inches between your heels and about 3 inches between the balls of your feet. Now relax your arms at your sides, and you're just going to simply lift up onto the balls of your feet and then lower back down onto your flat feet. So you're going to lift straight up and come straight down. Our goal in doing these 3 position toe raises is to try to keep our bodies as vertical as we can, meaning we don't want to lean forward as we come up. We want to try to go straight up and down. So with our feet in that slightly pigeon-toed position here, we're going to go through 10 toe raises, we call them. Here we go. 1, 2, going straight up and down. And you want to try to keep your weight equally distributed through all 5 toes on both feet. And 8, 9, and 10. And go ahead and relax. Now you're going to turn your feet out to 45 degrees. Notice how I maintained the 5 inches between my heels. So you're going to want to do the same thing. Relax your arms at your sides, and same thing, you're going to go straight up and down. 2, 3, trying to keep your body as vertical as possible. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and relax. And now we're going to go ahead and turn those toes all the way in. So here your big toes are actually touching, and your heels are going to be wider than your toes. So we're going to actually get into a fully pigeon-toed position. Go ahead and relax your arms at your sides. Place about 5% more of your body weight into your big toe joint. We're going to emphasize that big toe joint pressing into the floor, keeping those knees nice and straight. We're going to go straight up and down. 2, looking straight ahead. 3, going straight up and down. 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Relax and just go ahead and shake out those legs a little bit. We're going to get into inline gluteal contractions. So you're going to go ahead and take your right foot and you're going to place it right in line with your left foot. So your feet are in a perfect straight line with your toes about 3 inches behind your heel. Now from here, you're just going to relax your arms at your sides. And you're just going to squeeze and release your glutes. Put your hands on your butt and squeeze, feel that contraction, and release. Now we are challenging our balance here. So if you feel a little bit off balance, if you feel like you need to hold on to something, you can feel free to do that. But if you can do this without holding on, that's going to be ideal. Squeeze, hold, and release. And you're going to want to try to keep your weight as equally distributed from front to back as possible. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Just relax those shoulders. 16. And remember to continue looking straight ahead. 18. Squeeze, hold, and release. 19. And 20. And go ahead and relax. You're going to bring that right foot back, and we're going to step the left foot forward so the heel is 3 inches in front of the toes. Just go ahead and relax your arms at your sides, looking straight ahead. Go ahead and bring your hands to your butt so we can feel that contraction. And squeeze, hold, slowly release. 1. We're going to go to 20 here. 2. And we do have a total of 3 sets of 20. So we're going to work through some reps. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And like I mentioned on the other side, you're going to want to keep your weight equally distributed from front to back. 13. And you'll notice these are difficult. So not only are we working our glutes here, we're also working all of the muscles of our lower legs, and our feet especially are having to work quite a lot to keep us balanced here. 2 and 1. And go ahead and relax. And now we're going to switch back with that right foot in line with the left. And I'm showing you what that looks like here. So you can see my back foot disappears in front of my front foot. You're going to want to do the same. Go ahead and squeeze and release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. 6, 7. Keeping that stomach relaxed. 8. If at any point you feel your stomach starting to tense up, you can just take a little break, reset, let that stomach relax. And what I mean by that is just let it hang out. 11, 12. So let that stomach relax and then restart again with these contractions. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Relax. Go ahead and bring that right foot back. We're going to step that left foot forward. Heel is 3 inches in front of the toes. Keeping those arms relaxed at your sides, we're going to squeeze, hold, and slowly release. This is 1, 2, 3. And just notice as your shoulders start to relax here, as those shoulders start to go, and they start to settle down. We're changing up the stimulus here. We're shifting those hips around, reminding those hips that they're supposed to be equal from right to left. And as a result, our upper bodies are shoulders are beginning to set back. We're on 10, halfway through this set. 11, 12. Now I just noticed I was kind of shifting back into my back foot. So I just shifted back to a little bit. So now I'm equal from front to back. You'll want to do the same if you notice your body doing that. 18, 19, 20. Relax. And we're going to go ahead and start our third set here. So right foot in front of the left, 3 inches between the toes and the heels. Squeeze, hold, and release. Stomach muscles are relaxed and working into those hips. 5, 6, just let those shoulders relax. And just let those shoulders naturally open up as we do this contraction here. 10, 11, 12, 13. So you're most likely going to feel some work happening in the feet and the lower legs. And that's a good thing. That's part of the exercise. Hold and release. 18, 19, we don't want to rush these reps. And 20, relax. And we're going to bring that left foot forward, heel 3 inches in front of the toes. Feet are nice and straight. We're going to look straight ahead. Go ahead and squeeze, hold, and slowly release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, halfway, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Relax. And we're going to get into the next exercise called standing arm circles. You're going to want your feet 5 inches between the heels, about 3 inches between the balls of your feet. So you should look slightly pigeon-toed to yourself. And bring your fingers into a golfer's grip by curling your fingers in at the second knuckle. And we're going to make sure we're in that position correctly by bringing the center pads of our palms together to touch, to really open up that big knuckle so that our knuckle is fully extended, that knuckle right there. So we're going to go ahead and extend those thumbs. So we want the thumbs away from the hands. So from there, you're going to bring your arms out to your sides, so your arms are shoulder height. And go ahead and squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back, keeping your elbow joints nice and straight, continuously pressing your fingers into the pads of your palms. You're going to want to circle forward with me here 40 times while we keep our stomach muscles relaxed. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, keeping those shoulder blades pinched together in the back. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And 40, and relax, turn your palms up to the ceiling, and we're going to circle up and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keeping those stomach muscles relaxed. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, elbow joints are locked out nice and straight, and continue to pinch those shoulder blades together in the back. Last 3, 2, 1, and relax. Go ahead and shake out those arms. Bring those hands back into that same golfer's grip. And we're going to start here with elbow curls. So go ahead and bring that big knuckle to the temple right behind your eyeball. Extend your thumbs down towards the floor. Looking straight ahead, you're going to bring your elbows to touch and bring your elbows all the way back. We're going to exhale as we come together in the center. We're going to inhale as we come back. Our goal here is to keep our thumbs pointed down towards the floor versus in here towards our cheeks. So we want to keep those thumbs down. Inhaling as we come apart. We're going to keep those toes nice and relaxed and stomach muscles relaxed. Exhale as those elbows come together. Inhale as they come apart. What we're doing here is we're working into the thoracic back area, unhinging the shoulder girdle and reminding the shoulders of their function to be able to hinge forward and back. So we have 5 more. Here we go, last 5. Remember to breathe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And go ahead and relax your arms down at your sides. And we're going to start an exercise called forward bend. So you're going to want to go ahead and bring your arms, or excuse me, bring your hands to the lower back / upper buttocks area. Go ahead and look down, check your feet. You should have 5 inches between your heels and 3 inches between the balls of your feet. You're going to look straight ahead and tilt your pelvis forward to create an arch in your lower back. So I'm going to undo that here, and I'm going to show that to you again. So you can watch as I tilt my pelvis forward to increase the arch in my lower back. So you'll want to do the same thing and hold that arch. Bring your elbows together in the back to pinch your shoulder blades together. And maintain that arch in your lower back as you hinge forward from the hip. So don't move from the back. You're going to actually just hinge at the hip. And you're going to shift your weight forward into the balls of your feet. Tighten your thigh muscles. Look straight ahead. And breathe. We're going to hold this here for 1 minute. And we're going to work into that upper body. So bring the elbow joints together in the back and contract between the shoulder blades. And we're going to continue to work into those thigh muscles, contracting the quads and shifting forward into the balls of those feet. Continuing to maintain the arch in the lower back. And remember to breathe. Notice as those quads want to not contract. So we're going to continue to emphasize contracting those quads. And slowly come on up. And go ahead and relax those arms. Shake them out. Our next exercise is called kneeling ankle squeezes. So if you have a block, you're going to want to go ahead and place that right between your feet. If you don't have a block, I'll show you what to do in a second. If you have a chair or a piece of furniture to rest your arms on for a little bit of added balance, you'll want to go ahead and do that. If not, you can just have your arms relaxed here at your sides. So for the kneeling ankle squeezes, our goal here is to engage muscles of the hips by simply pressing our feet into that block behind us. So I'll just show you what that would look like here. Let's imagine that my hands are my feet. So my feet are on the sides of the block, and I'm just simply pressing directly into the block. And you're going to want to be pressing using the entire inner edges of those feet. So you're going to want to press from the balls of your feet all the way to the heels. So that is if you're using a block. If you're not using a block, you're just going to simply place your feet together, the center edges of your feet together, and you're just going to press and release those feet. So we're going to get started here with our first set of 20 reps. Press and release. Press and release. So I'm giving you your tempo here, so it should just be nice and slow. Press, hold, slowly release. Press, hold, slowly release. So as you do these presses, you want to avoid the mistake of actively contracting your butt. So you don't want to squeeze your butt. Now we do want some engagement in the glutes and the hips, but that muscle engagement is just going to be a function of the pressing that we're doing here with our feet. So we're just going to think about our feet as we press against that block. And our goal here is to press evenly through the balls of the feet all the way through the heels, keeping those shoulders just nice and relaxed. We're going to go through another 3, press, hold, and release. 2, and 1. Go ahead and relax, and we're going to start set number 2. So here we go. Press, hold, and release. 1, 2, 3. It's really critical that you keep your stomach muscles relaxed here on this exercise. 4, 5, 6. And if this hurts your knees kneeling on the floor, you can put a pillow or a little bit of added cushion under those knee joints. 8, 9, 10. We're halfway. So what we're doing here is we're working muscles that stabilize the hip joint. These are muscles that don't typically get worked with traditional exercises like squats or lunges or even running or walking. These muscles oftentimes get ignored and even become weakened over time through lack of movement or through repetitive movements or maybe even from previous injuries. So our goal here in doing these is to really start to wake up those hips. So here we're finishing up our second set of 20 reps, and we're starting to really feel, at least I'm starting to really feel those hip muscles waking up. Maybe you are too. And relax. And we're going to go ahead and start our third set of 20 here. So squeeze, hold, release. Squeeze, hold, release. 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're having a hard time feeling this in your glutes, one thing that you can try is bringing your knees a little bit wider. By widening your knees, you can help assist your body to activate the muscles of your hips. Squeeze, hold, and release. 8, 9, 10, looking straight ahead, relax those shoulders. So you might notice one side working a little bit harder than the other. And if you do notice that, you do want to just try to press evenly as best you can. Try to keep your weight equally distributed. And we're going to just try to encourage both sides to work equally here. We're going to go through our last 5, 4, 3. My cat is telling me something. And go ahead and relax. And we're going to place that block off to the side. Now we're going to be getting down on our backs. So you're going to want to go ahead and lay down on your back. There we go. Actually, we're not going to be on our backs just yet, and just check my instructions, and we're going to be on our hands and knees. So you're going to want to take your block, and you're going to place it between your knees, and you're going to come onto all fours. Now, if you don't have a block, you're going to do the same thing that we were doing before, just pressing through the inner edges of your feet. So we're going to start off on all fours. Hip joint is above the knee, and shoulder joint is above the wrist. From here, you're going to walk your hands forward, one hand length, and you're going to shift your body forward. So at this point, your shoulder joint should be directly above your wrist and hands. And your hip joint should be about 4 inches out in front of your knee. Now from here, you're going to let your stomach relax. You're going to allow your pelvis to tilt forward. Now you're going to drop those shoulder blades together in the back. So we really want to feel that contraction between those shoulder blades. And go ahead and drop the head. Let that neck relax. And imagine that your chest is sinking through your body towards the floor. Now we're going to press, hold, and release against that block. And if you're just using your feet, you're going to press, hold, and release through the inner edges of your feet. 3, 4, 5. So we're going nice and slow here. 6, 7. And the purpose of this exercise is to re-educate the muscles of the hips in order to control the spine in its correct position. 8. So the spine is supposed to have a gentle curvature inward at the lower back and a gentle curvature outward at the upper back. We run into problems when we either lose that curvature or end up with too much curvature. Our spines are no longer in neutral. So the purpose of this exercise is to begin to re-educate the proper curves of the spine. And go ahead and relax. Take a little break if you need to. And we're going to reset, and we're going to start again for our second set of 20. Let those shoulder blades collapse together in the back. Go ahead and let that head fall. And we're going to press, hold, and release. So you should be feeling the muscle work in the hips, kind of in the outer hip glute area. And again, if you feel like you need a little bit of extra padding underneath your knees, you can just grab a pillow or a blanket and put something there. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Go ahead and come on up, take a little break, shake out those wrists, and we are going to go through one more round here of 20 reps. You're going to go and walk that body forward. Let that stomach relax, let that pelvis tilt forward. Let those shoulder blades contract, drop together in the back. Go ahead and drop the head, relax the neck. And we're going to go ahead and start again, pressing evenly through the inner edges of those feet. 2, So I'm giving you your tempo here. 3, press, hold, slowly release. 4, 5, 6. So you can be feeling this in any number of places. You could be feeling this tremendously in your arms, your shoulders, your wrists. All of these areas are perfectly acceptable to feel this exercise. You're going to be feeling this quite a lot through your hips. If you do feel any discomfort in your lower back, you can just simply pull your body back a little bit, or you can just feel free to come out of the exercise entirely if you feel like you've had enough. We're almost done. We've got our last 10, 9, continuously allowing those shoulder blades to collapse together in the back. And last 5, 4, pressing those fingers into the ground to help redistribute the weight off of our wrists, and relax. Whew, that one definitely made me break a sweat, probably did to you as well. I think we're done with our blocks. We can go ahead and get rid of that. And now we're going to go ahead and transition down onto the floor, onto our backs. So this lovely exercise is called supine femur rotations. So what you want to do here is lay down on your floor with your arms at 45 degrees to your body. So that's halfway from your body to 90 degrees. You can just slide those arms down right to 45 degrees. That's going to let those shoulders relax and open up against the floor. We want those palms up. Now we're going to find 45 degrees at our knee joints. So the way to do that is to walk your feet all the way in towards your hips. And then you're going to walk your feet out away from your butt, all the way out, way past 45 degrees. You can walk those feet out too far. Now you're going to bring your feet into what feels to you about the center. And then from there, you can adjust a little bit to where your knees, hips, and back all feel pretty neutral. And that's just a really great way to find that 45-degree angle there at the knee. So we're going to be coming back to this 45-degree angle at the knee several times now throughout the rest of this video. So now from here, we're going to keep our right leg at that 45-degree angle. We're just going to simply extend that left leg down on the floor. We're going to pull our toes up towards our bodies. So you're going to go ahead and flex that foot and gently contract the thigh or the quad on that left leg. Now from here, we're going to take our hand, we're going to place our hand just right at that crease of the hip. We're going to find that hip joint. And I want you to feel that motion as we rotate the leg going in and out. And we want to actually feel the motion initiating from the hip joint itself. So you're just going to feel a little bit of movement, essentially, is what we want to feel. So we're isolating that hip joint, and by rotating the hip out and in, we're causing our entire leg to essentially windshield wiper that foot. So we're going to continue to maintain that quad contraction. We're going to keep that foot flexed as we rotate in and out. Last 3. We're going to 20 reps, 2, and we're going to do a total of 3 sets of 20 reps. And 1, relax. Now we're going to return our legs here to 45 degrees. So you're just going to simply match that left leg up with the right. And now we're going to extend the right leg down on the floor. We're going to flex that right foot, contract the quad on that right leg, and we're going to windshield wiper or rotate in and out. 2, 3. So you might notice some minor differences or maybe some great differences from right to left. Most of us have uneven hips. So this is really an interesting way to detect that. And by going through these reps, a total of 3 sets of 20 reps, we're going to start to actually promote more balance through both hip joints from right to left. So our hip joints are supposed to rotate. And when our hips lose that rotational ability, then that's when we start to have problems with walking. And that's when we start to have pain in our hips, our knees, our feet, our ankles. So here we're in an unloaded position. We have no weight on those leg joints. And we have that quad contracted, the foot flexed. And this is just a gentle way to begin to remind those hips of their ability to rotate. A little bit agrees. She's telling us. Last 1, and relax. And we're going to go ahead and bring those feet back to 45 degrees. And we're going to extend that opposite leg. So now we're back to the left leg. We're going to flex the foot, tighten the thigh, and we're going to go ahead and rotate in and out. And relax your upper back. So there's actually a really interesting chain reaction happening here. As we go through this rotation, our upper bodies are actually responding to this movement. Our upper backs are beginning to, the best way I can describe this is the muscles that run alongside the spine are actually getting stimulated here as a result of a few of the things that are happening here at the pelvis and at the hip. So what that's doing is it's causing the upper back to actually extend or begin to, I guess you could say, open up against the floor. And as a result of that, our shoulders are beginning to open up and settle back against the floor naturally. So we have another 5 here, keeping that quad contracted. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring that left leg back. So knees are at 45 degrees. We're going to extend that right leg, and we're going to rotate in and out. And remember to bring those arms down to 45 degrees to your body. 4, keeping that quad contracted. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We want to really emphasize the inward rotation and the outward rotation. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We're going to bring that right leg back to both knees at 45 degrees. Go ahead and straighten out those hips on the floor. We're going to extend that left leg, flex the foot, tighten the thigh, and we're going to rotate in and out as we allow that upper body, the upper back to just relax and open up. And remember to breathe. Breathing is a really important part of all of these exercises that we do. I'll do my best to remind you as often as possible. But you also always want to make sure that you're breathing continuously, not holding your breath. Right now, we're going to practice breathing gently down into the abdomen, down into the belly. Last 3, 2, and 1. And bring that left leg in. And extend the right leg on the floor, flex the foot, tighten the thigh, and we're going to rotate in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as I do these, it's becoming more apparent to me the limitation in my rotation here on my right leg. My right knee was the knee that I had reconstructed. I had reconstructive surgery on my right knee in college. And as a result of that, and to anyone who's had their ACL replaced, a lot of times that same hip will begin to shut down over the years. So these movements and these exercises are really great for me because they help to keep both of my hips balanced and equal. They help to keep me pain-free. So whatever you're noticing here in terms of asymmetry or imbalances here from right to left, it's just good to notice that. And we're going to go through another 3, 2, and 1. And relax. You're going to go ahead and bring those feet back together. And you're going to keep those knee joints at 45 degrees as we set up for the frog exercise. So frog, from that 45-degree angle of the knee, we're just going to slide the soles of our feet together and go ahead and let your knees fall apart. We're here for 2 minutes. So don't press your knees down into the floor and don't flatten your lower back to the floor. So as a result of doing this frog, our pelvis is actually tilting forward and the arch of our lower back is increased, is accentuated here. And we don't want to do anything to change that. We want to let that arch happen. Part of the purpose of the frog exercise is to re-educate the proper curve, the natural curvature of the lower back, and also to even out both hip joints. So you can actually look and see if one knee is higher than the other. So now I'm looking and I'm seeing that my right leg is a little bit higher than my left leg, which is consistent with what I was just feeling with my femur rotations, which was that my right hip was the tighter hip and it was the one that was harder to rotate. So it would be interesting for you to check that for yourself and see what you're feeling there, or what you're seeing in terms of one knee being higher than the other. And of course, the more you do these things, the more balanced your hips become, and the more you should start to see those knees evening out. And maybe even within one sitting, I'm looking now, and I'm seeing that my right knee is starting to settle down a little bit and starting to become more even with my left. Just relax your stomach, relax your hips, breathe. And you'll want to keep your big toes touching here in the center. And that's to strengthen the muscles of your feet. And bring your knees together as we set up for hip crossover stretch. Bring your knees again to 45 degrees and check your feet. Your heels should be about 5 inches apart. Your toes should be about 3 inches apart. If you can't tell, just go ahead and slide your toes to touch and then just open up your feet a little bit. So you should feel slightly pigeon-toed here. We're going to bring our arms up to shoulder height and we're going to rotate our palms down for the hip crossover stretch. We're going to place some pressure of our palms into the floor in order to stabilize, engage, and stabilize our shoulder girdle. And we're going to maintain that downward pressure of our palms into the floor throughout this exercise. Now we're going to take our right leg and we're going to place the little bony knob, a little bony prominence of that right ankle. We're going to place that just above the left knee. So that soft spot just above the knee, we're going to connect that ankle bone with that soft spot above the knee. Take a deep breath in. And slowly exhale as you rotate the left leg all the way out to come in contact with the floor. The underside of the right foot is going to come in contact with the floor. And that left leg should have stayed in its position and it just simply rolled over to the side. If your left leg slid across the floor, you're going to want to come out of this, reset, come into it, and go through that rotation there without letting that left foot slide across the floor. So now we're going to start our minute. You're going to want to turn your head to your right. You're going to press your palms firmly down into the floor. And you're going to use the muscles of your right hip to press your right leg away from your body. So you're going to continue to press that right leg. Another way of thinking of that is pressing your right leg down in the direction of your feet. And practice deep breathing here in this position. Breathing into your belly and your lower back. And letting your body relax, adjust, and acclimate here to this position. We're continuing to press our palms down into the floor and continuing to press that leg out. Hip crossover stretch is just as much about the shoulders as it is the hips, which is why we're continuing to maintain that pressure of the palms into the floor. Now bring your legs back to the center, uncross your legs, bring your feet back to 5 inches between the heels, adjust those hips so that they're nice and straight on the floor. And we're going to take that left leg, we're going to place that ankle bone that juts out there on that left ankle, and we're going to place that just above that right knee. So we're going to find that little soft spot above our right knee with that ankle bone. Now maintaining pressure with our palms on the floor And keeping our right foot in line with our hip, we're just going to rotate all the way out to the side. We're going to bring the outer edge of that right leg down to the floor. The underside of that left foot comes to touch the floor. And we're going to turn our heads towards the left. We're going to use the muscles of our left hip to press our leg away from our bodies down. And we're going to breathe and hold this position here for 1 minute. And relax your traps, especially looking towards the left. You might notice that your left trap is contracting. So try to relax that as much as possible. And we're going to press our palms down into the floor. We're even going to aim our undersides of our wrists towards the floor as well. Practice deep breathing here in this position. And we're just going to let our bodies adjust and acclimate here to this hip crossover stretch as we continue to use the strength of that left hip to press that leg out. So go ahead and bring your legs back to center. You're going to want to uncross your legs, come back to 45 degrees at the knee joint. And we're going to have our arms in line with our shoulders, but this time with our palms up as we set up for modified IT band stretch. We're going to take our right leg, we're going to cross it completely over that left leg. So we're not here like we were in that last exercise. Instead, we're here with that leg, top leg draped over completely over the left. Now, maintaining that left foot right in line with the hip, we're going to take our legs towards the right. Moving your legs towards the right. And we're taking the palms up version of the modified IT band stretch today. We can do this with palms up or palms down. The palms up version allows our shoulders to open up and relax. And we did the hip crossover stretch with palms down. So we're just adding in a little bit of variety here, giving our shoulders some different stimulus. Breathe. And just let the hips respond to what we're telling them to do here. And even though this is rotating the hips and giving us a stretch through the lateral hip area, really what's happening is the entire spine is being engaged, rotated, and activated here. And as a result, our upper bodies are beginning to open up, our shoulders, even our necks, even the muscles of our jaw. Not me because I'm talking, but just laying here, those jaw muscles are starting to relax. Go ahead and bring your legs back to center. Uncross your legs, bring your feet back to 5 inches between the heels, feet slightly pigeon-toed, knees at 45 degrees. We're going to take that left leg and we're going to cross it completely over the right. And keeping that right foot right in line with the hip, we're going to take our legs and we're going to drop them to the left. And breathe. And we're just going to let our bodies adjust and respond to this movement here as we allow our shoulders to settle back and open up. Remembering to breathe. So we are going to hold this for equal time on both sides as we do with all of our stretches and exercises. And even though you might have one hip that's tighter, one side of your body that's tighter, we still want to hold equal time on both sides so that we can let our bodies balance out, really, so that we can keep our bodies balanced. And go ahead and bring your legs back to center. Uncross your legs. And we're going to set up here for pelvic tilts. So adjust your feet here so that your feet are slightly pigeon-toed. So you should toe move those toes in a little bit, so you should feel a little bit pigeon-toed to yourself. And adjust those knee joints so that you have your knees right at 45 degrees, the same way we did earlier. You're going to want to have your arms on the floor with your palms up, with your arms at 45 degrees to your body. For pelvic tilts, tilt your pelvis forward to increase the curve in your lower back, and tilt your pelvis back to flatten your lower back. Tilt your pelvis forward again, using the muscles of your hips and midsection. Don't push with your upper back and don't use your legs. Tilt your pelvis back, but don't lift your butt. So this is not a bridge. You're just going to tilt back until your lower back comes to a flat position. Tilting forward to increase the arch in the lower back. Now, a lot of people, when they do this exercise, are really lacking that range of motion to tilt forward. You might notice the same thing. So our goal here is to increase our range of motion as we go through each rep, practicing the motion, tilting forward and tilting back. So this is a range of motion in our pelvis that a lot of us are missing. And as a result of this lacking range of motion, we have uneven wear and tear in our joints, in our spine. So by restoring this motion, we're not necessarily fixing anything overnight. However, we are just simply reminding our bodies that this is how you're supposed to move. You're supposed to be able to move here through flexion and extension of the pelvis. So you're going to want to inhale as you tilt forward and exhale as you tilt back. Last one. And relax. And now you're going to bring your feet wide, wider than your hips, so that when you sit up and look, you should be able to see your feet on the outsides of your hips. And toe your feet in so that your feet are slightly pigeon-toed. You're going to want your arms at 45 degrees to your body with your palms up. And we're going to go through knee drops, bringing your legs to your right and pause. Moving all the way through the center to your left and pause. This is 1, 2. So no pause in the center, and we want a little pause on each side. We're going to inhale as we go one way, exhale as we go the other way. Last one. Come back to center. And we're going to reset our feet for our second set. So go ahead and look. Bring your feet wide so that you can see your feet on the outsides of your hips. Turn your toes in slightly so that your feet are slightly pigeon-toed. And check the angle of your knee. It should be 45 degrees. So your feet should not be out here like this. We want to bring those feet in a little until that knee joint is at that 45-degree angle that we found earlier. Now from here, if we started to the right last time, this time we're going to start to the left, coming all the way to the left and pause. Rotating through the center to the right and pause. That was 1 and 2. Now you might notice as you go through these knee drops that your feet want to creep away from your body a little bit. So that's natural. If you do notice that, just readjust your feet by scooting them back in towards your body so that you maintain that 45-degree angle at the knee. And just let your upper body relax and adjust as we go through these knee drops. Last 2 and 1. And relax. And we're going to go ahead and come on up to a seated position for sitting floor. So we're in the home stretch here, guys. We've got 2 movements left. Sitting floor. And then the last movement is going to be a surprise. So for sitting floor, you're going to sit with your legs extended. Place an arch in your lower back. Tighten your thigh muscles and flex your feet. Go ahead and look at your feet. You're going to want the outer edges of your feet to be straight and the inner edges of your feet to be more closer together at the balls of your feet. So you should be slightly pigeon-toed here. Looking straight ahead, squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back and relax those shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe. And we're going to hold sitting floor here for 3 minutes. And what this is doing is it's giving us a workout in our hip flexor muscles. And this is helping us to strengthen better posture. So some things to think about here as we hold this. So first, check your feet. We're 1 minute in, 1 minute out of 3. And continue to maintain that straight alignment, or slightly pigeon-toed, I should say. Continue to flex your feet back. And we're going to emphasize pulling back a little bit more from the outer edges of those feet. So as you do that, you should feel that here along the shin, along the outer part of the shin of that lower leg. And we're going to continue to work into those quads. Contract your quads equally on both sides. And you should feel that quad contraction all the way through the upper thigh and even into the creases of those hips. And we're going to continue to work towards placing an arch in the lower back by tilting that pelvis forward. And that increased pelvic tilt is going to place a slight arch in the lower back, which is going to translate to a better upper body position here. So we're 2 minutes in, 2 minutes out of 3. And with the shoulders, we're gently bringing those shoulders down and back. But the majority of the work is really happening in the feet and the legs. Breathe and try to relax your stomach. Continue to flex those feet back. Keep those thigh muscles tight. And almost done here with sitting floor. And relax. Whew, 3 minutes in sitting floor. That is tough. All right, last exercise of the day is a downward facing dog. So you're going to come onto all fours. You're going to go ahead and curl your toes under. And you're going to use the muscles of your hips to lift your hips up, to pull your hips back. Place a nice big arch in your lower back. Drop your head and push your chest through your arms. You're going to want to place 5% more of your weight into your big toe joint. Settle your heels down into the floor and tighten those thigh muscles. Try to relax your head. Let your upper body relax and let your hips do the work here. Let those hips continue to pull your hips, pike your hips up and back. And I want you to breathe into your belly here. So give me some diaphragmatic breaths, inhaling into that belly and slowly exhaling, noticing that your body settles back even more as you exhale. As we continue to press into those big toe joints, inhaling into that belly. And slowly exhaling, and go ahead and come on down and stand up. We're going to reevaluate. At the very beginning, we did a quick gait analysis, a walking test. After we've gone through these movements to realign our feet, our legs, and our hips, we're just going to retest our walking. So just walk and notice what feels different here. So right now for me, I feel lighter. That's probably the biggest change that I notice. I tend to have really heavy footsteps. People always know when I'm coming. But right now I feel lighter. And the other change I notice is that my weight feels more centered through my feet versus on the outer edges of my heels. And then I also feel like my feet are pointed more inward, so I can tell that my feet are much straighter. And I can feel that my knees and my femurs are straighter, my hip joints are in a better position as well. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this style of movement, I'd like to invite you to check out my other playlist on my channel here with full body workouts. I'm forgetting the exact name of the playlist, but I'm going to share that playlist in the comment box below this video once this is done and published. And I want to invite you to check out that playlist so that you can see other workouts that are similar to the style of this one. And if you got value out of this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon that appears once you click subscribe, and select your notification preferences so that you can get notified when I bring more live videos like this to YouTube or when I publish other videos here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.